Honest J. Nowak. Oh yeah. A pleasure to meet all at last, and welcome back to Honest J. Nowak. And so now for today, I'd simply like to get on into some other subjects here, and of course it has been quite a while since I had wore salmon. So of course, that's the perfect reason for me to come back here on HJN, but also because of some new subjects that I have coming soon. But for right now, I'm going to get on to another somewhat simple one, but this one has a lot of connectivity into it that I should address. Jaguars. Of course, out of all feline species out there, the jaguar is a pretty elusive one out there. Because after all, if the famous cheetah or leopard were big enough, then well, let's talk a little more about the jaguar. I mean, it has a lot of similarities to it, being that it also does have somewhat leopard spots on them. Because the cheetah, jaguar, and leopard, that's basically one thing that they all have in common. But of course, sometimes their personalities are different. The cheetah, of course, has always been regarded for being one of the fastest animals to ever run. And that just goes without saying. But as for the leopard, I mean, there's not really much to talk about that. But in terms of the jaguar, there's even less. And that's only because I've already talked about the fact that there are, in fact, tons of animal species out there that could be going extinct. I'm not so sure about the jaguar, though. The jaguar may not be going extinct for a long time. But there's only one real way to find out. We just have to keep going here. We have to stop pollution at all costs. And more importantly so, we cannot allow any more types of extinctions to take place. Apocalyptic events of all sorts are unfolding. And I'll talk a little more about those in another episode of HJN. But for now, going back to jaguars though, I mean, if there's two things that I really recognize the fact that the word jaguar had been implied to, then well, it'd be a Godzilla character, Jet Jaguar, and there's the Atari Jaguar. Basically the console from '93 that tried to be the 64-bit system that it was. And somewhat failed. Because it couldn't convince any of us. Though I should imply that maybe it would be right to have a jaguar as a pet. And you probably would guess what I would name it. But anyways, I mean, that's pretty much a long way from here at this point. So, talking about jaguars as pets, or like basically having them in captivity in general, I mean, there are a lot of exotic species out there that have been kept in captivity amongst all sorts of things out there. So, I mean, those are pretty much things you could probably leave out at this point, because at this point, I feel like that I've already said enough about the jaguar, beyond enough. So you know what, let's just give that a rest at this point. So there's a lot of new subjects here that are going to be coming forward. So here on HJN, there's going to be a lot that I'll have to work on here. And if you want to see more, go down to my channel. Make sure that you like, subscribe, comment, follow me on social media, and stay on the Hollywood side.